So it's never a good sign whenever I have to go ahead and make a review for an iPhone that just came out. To be honest, it's always very interesting. I try to do my best of testing everything out, but nobody's perfect. And with this iPhone, every time I keep thinking about things I'm going to be talking about, throughout the life of this device, I it's just a very strange release. It's just a very strange iPhone in general. And honestly, I kind of do wish I liked this iPhone. I wish I loved this iPhone because then I could go ahead and kind of go against popular opinion right now, which is pretty much hating on this iPhone. But I personally do think that this iPhone can, if Apple can go ahead and get their stuff together, I think this iPhone can actually be a very, very good iPhone. And there's only a few complaints. One, I think personally with the camera situation, that is a really big issue. For those of you who don't know, your camera can basically rattle if you're in applications like Snapchat and Instagram. And honestly, that is a really big issue. If you rewind back a little bit with an iPhone like the iPhone 12 series, right? So with the iPhone 12, even the 12 mini that I have here, these types of iPhones experienced a really weird battery degradation issue. Now, I was not a fan of that at all, and that was a very strange thing that Apple kind of, hinted at that they fixed it, but they never really did. That was a hardware defect. If we go ahead and step back even further to the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus with that bend gate issue, that was another reason why people ended up skipping that generation or hating that generation, even though it sold very well. With this camera issue, for the fact that Apple has waited this long to even push out an update, they're pushing out it like a Monday or something, that is a very strange thing because people are already getting, probably problems with their camera long term if that happens. So that is a very sad thing, and that is always not a good look when a new iPhone comes out. On top of that, a lot of people are complaining about the battery life of these iPhones as well. Now, with the always on display, you have the ability of turning it off. Some people may not even know that, and some people may not even remember that, but you do have that ability. So if you're always having bad battery life, you can always turn off that display. I did a battery comparison already, and I found my iPhone 14 doing better than the previous generations, which is nice. But the other thing is that for the device that you were getting with that SIM card tray removed, that was probably the biggest issue and the only thing that's really stopping me from going from my iPhone 13 Pro to my iPhone 14 Pro right now. And the main reason for that isn't because I'm scared to adopt eSIM, it's because if this iPhone, if the camera issues aren't resolved, if the other issues and bugs aren't resolved either, well then for me to go back to my 13 Pro, I'm not too sure if, I understand I just have to scan the QR code and everything, but I don't really want to go from phone back to my old phone, back to the new one. I've done that before. I hate doing that. And I really want Apple to go ahead. They have to really get this one right. If you remember with the iPhone 10 back in 2017, they had to really sell people on Face ID. Now we're on the dynamic island, which is really nice, but they did kind of mess up that presentation on the iPhone 10. But when we got it, of course, there were issues, but it ended up getting better throughout time. But now with something like the 14 Pro, this makes things a little bit more complicated because they have to really get the specific iPhone right in order to justify things like that SIM card tray being removed and all these other things. That's not really supposed to be a feature, is the SIM card tray being removed, but the dynamic island is supposed to be a feature. These other things supposed to be a feature. But if Apple is messing up the release and they're, the camera's rattling, and there's a bunch of bugs that they shouldn't even have put in there in the first place, well then it's going to take a little bit more of a time for people to get adjusted to this iPhone. So that's kind of it. I'll be making a review probably in a little bit of time. I guess we'll see what happens. I don't really think anybody's going to watch it, but that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.